Well, hello there. This is Maria Rothenberger from the Miracles Happen Fertility Center at drmariarothenberger.com. This is week 51. Oh my gosh. I, I I almost can't believe it's been a little more than a year since I started this compassion practice. If you want to know why I started this compassion practice series, go back all the way to January 2020 and you'll have a greater understanding of why I decided to do this. And it was an excellent year to be practicing more compassion. This week's quote, by the way, is from all quotes are from this book, A Year of Living with More Compassion. And this week's quote is by Sharon Salzberg, who is a really big name in the mindfulness community and actually does a lot of work with the prison system. It's amazing. Sharon Salzberg, fabulous. Her quote says, "All beings want to be happy, yet so very few know how. It is out of ignorance that any of us cause suffering for ourselves or for others." And ignorance here is just a not knowing. One of the things that I mentioned, I think it was last week or the week before, is that we don't want to blame ourselves for things that we just didn't know how to handle or what to do with. So the ignorance is the not knowing. So the theme this week is happiness and compassion in lieu of unhappiness and self-blame. Sharon says, or actually the person who chose the quote is Richard Fields, PhD. He says, "In our striving for happiness, we fuel our fear of unhappiness." And I love that because, I mean, I don't love that we do that, but I love that sentiment because what you attend to is what is made manifest. You know, this is a quite a mystical way of thinking about it, but when you actually just think about it, oh, if I'm looking at this water bottle, that is what is in my focus right now, and I'm not paying attention at all to what's over here, which is, I don't know, a bunch of books. But I'm the only thing that's in my awareness right now, or my attention, is this flask. So the same thing goes for unhappiness. If you are dissatisfied or unhappy in any way, and you're just thinking about that and mulling it over and over and over and over, how somebody wronged you, or like the politics went not your way. This was a banner year, 2020. I am so glad we are in 2021. Um, yeah, so if you're completely focused on that, you know, and how things didn't go your way or somebody wronged you, then you're not paying attention to the things that went right for you, the things that went well for you, the things that make you feel good, the people that, you know, support your wellness and your happiness. You're just not focused on them. Now, does that mean you're bad or wrong and that you need to blame yourself? Absolutely not. All you need to do is gently turn your awareness to the things that are working for you, the things that are feeling good to you, the things that do support your happiness. There was something else that he wrote here that I really enjoyed. So let me just read through this really quick. We often see joy and happiness as something we will attain in the future. We delude ourselves in thinking that when we have enough money, the right job, the right relationship, the right car and house, the right family situation, then we will be happy. In striving for these things, we can lose sight of the happiness and joy available to us in the present moment. Yes, that is what I wanted to highlight. Happiness is all around you. It really is all around you, even in the face of the things that are shitty right now, even in the face of things that suck, that are not great, there is joy. So, for example, in my city, there is unfortunately a very large homeless population. And even in the midst of that sadness, in the midst of seeing people who are forced to live on the streets, you know, they're in a camp in a park nearby, and yet there are, you know, families playing soccer and, you know, kids hanging out on the playground, and overall it still feels safe. That is happiness and joy in tandem with things that are not so great. They both exist at the same time. That is the point. And so If you hold both at the same time, you will have far more of a balanced way of being rather than completely being focused on the crap because the crap exists too, or completely ignoring the crap because it's there. You don't want to completely ignore it. If you completely focus on, oh, everything's great, everything's fine, there's something in you that knows everything's not totally fine. There are things that are totally fine. And there's part of you that acknowledges, there's some suffering in the world. I don't want to ignore that. I want to honor that by giving it my attention. And I want to honor the joy and the happiness by giving it my attention. So the practice for this week is very simple. List the people and things and situations that bring you joy. List those things that bring you joy. You can also list the things that are hard for you. And I think it's a beautiful thing to honor them in that way because you give them presence, you give them your attention without uh, intensity, without a deep fervor. You're just looking at it. A list is just that. It's a list of written things. And when you look at them without the intensity or the emotion in there, you're able to honor them in that way. I am present for you, hard things. I am present for you, joyful things. And you're able to see the balance of both things existing at the same time. So that is your practice for this week. If you can list at least 3 things a day that you are grateful for or that bring you joy and peace, you will be well on your way this week. I would even recommend 5 things twice a day, but just start with 3 things once a day. Write them down. There's something about writing them down that helps really ingrain them in your body and in your system. And P.S., if you do this within the first 30 minutes of your morning, research shows that that colors the whole rest of your day. Even 12 hours later, people report a similar feeling compared to those first 30 minutes of the day. So incorporate that in the first 30 minutes of your day, and you're good to go for this week. Next week is the very last week of this compassion series. I honor you for staying with me through this whole year of compassion, and I really, really hope that you have cultivated more, especially for yourself, so that you can spread it out even further. May you be well, and I'll see you next week for week 52.